Hey there, nerds. Jimmy Palmquist here. Just doing a little review of The Conners. Now, I did not watch the original Roseanne show all the way through. I watched a good chunk of it. It was on in my household. I was a kid, and we watched as a family. It was funny, sad, things I didn't quite understand at that age. So when they announced that they were going to reboot it, I was like, okay, I'll give it a go. And surprisingly, I very much enjoyed last season. I know Roseanne Barr, the actual person, says and does some pretty horrible things. I think there's more to it than that, as I have met her personally, and she was a very, very sweet woman. I think there's more to it, but I'm not going to get into that. The show, surprisingly, was very open-minded and presented new ideas and topics that I think the far right would not like and appreciate, which is what it seems Roseanne Barr associates with. And I think that's what a lot of America thought was going to be the case. But to me, they presented a lot of open-minded ideas, such as Middle Eastern neighbors, and that they're good people and interacting with them is a good thing, and they're good. A little boy, grandson, who wants to dress very effeminate and was getting bullied in school. And Roseanne and Dan have to deal with how that's working and how to handle that, as Darlene is fine with it and open-minded. Obviously, she was quite liberal even back in the day on the show. So I really enjoyed the show. I thought it was good stuff. I understand the politics involved. I'm not getting into that. I'm saying what the show presented. So after the season aired and Roseanne came out with her horrible tweets, and she got fired, and the show was then canceled, and then quickly announced that we're going to actually reboot without Roseanne and name it The Conners. How are they going to pull this off? Let's see. Well, last night was the premiere episode, and I watched, and wow. I think everybody knew that they were going to kill off Roseanne. That's pretty much the easiest, best way to handle that character. But the way in which they did it, at first I thought, oh my God, they are just sticking a knife into Roseanne Barr, the actress, producer, creator of the show, and really turning that knife in that she had an overdose of opioids. But then, as the show progressed, because I thought it was going to be like a one-line, done, Roseanne's dead, and this is how she died from a drug overdose. No, they very tastefully, very realistically dealt with the emotion of loss, but also dealt with the emotion of an overdose and drug addiction. And it's weird to think that a parent, an elderly parent, would be a drug addict, because usually when you think of drug addict, you think of, teenagers, 20s, 30s. You don't really think of a elderly parent who's addicted to painkillers. And it was really eye-opening, as I have parents that are getting older and in-laws that are getting older. You can see how this is a very realistic scenario. And they, of course, brought humor into it. But to see Dan's reaction and rage that he wanted to blame somebody, to see Darlene trying to deal with the loss of her mother while also trying to be the responsible one and pay the bills and take care of her own kids and take care of her dad and sister, and Jackie, her reaction at losing her sister, I gotta say, I was thoroughly impressed. I thought the writing was amazing. I thought the characters and the acting was spot on, just fantastic, very realistic. And I'm curious to see how they're going to do more. I want to see more. I think it was very touching and heartfelt. I have no idea how the ratings were. I have no idea how the country as a whole, which I think is thoroughly, horrifically divided at the moment, I don't know how they're receiving it from a political standpoint. I'm sure the people who are mad that Roseanne got fired for what she said are going to hate it. And I'm sure the people who are happy that Roseanne got fired are going to love it. That's just the way the world works right now. I'm sorry, the way the country works right now. But I would highly recommend you watch The Conners. This premiere episode was everything. It was emotion, Sad, happy, funny, and again, educational as we learn more about some of the characters we didn't quite see last year. And we have some new developments that I want to see how they play out. And they really bring now just Dan into the 21st century, and that he's got to deal with having a gay grandson, which is not something we expect Dan to deal with, but he does well. I'm very impressed with this show. Highly recommend The Conners.